Hi there. Hey, welcome to day 3. Yay. So here we are on day 3. I hope you're practicing some of the things we talked about and about food and about uh, actually being the creator you were born to be as opposed to just being a victim of your circumstances, which is absolutely no fun whatsoever. And it is time to have a little fun, my friends, with this time of year and lean in and create. But there's an ingredient necessary for creating that most people aren't aware of. So, and that ingredient is an ingredient that couples up with the laws of gravity and uh, let's say the idea of a fractal universe, meaning that everything is a pattern within something else. So a fractal universe really means that, just imagine this idea, by the way, brought about by the man named Mandelbrot, that in mathematics there's this idea you can actually, there's an equation that actually shows that everything is within a pattern of everything else. And that if you change one part of the pattern, you can change the whole. So that's the first part of our equation today. The second part of our equation today is that gravity also permeates everything. Gravity permeates everything. It's just an is, it's a soup in which we swim. It also permeates all the dimensions. So it's in and of all the dimensions. And the last thing is love. Love is within every dimension, it permeates every dimension. That's why love is so powerful. See, shame or hate or guilt or blame don't permeate every dimension. They're very three-dimensional emotions. Therefore, they don't have a lot of power to be able to change reality, thank God, as much as love does. Isn't that good news? So, here today on this beautiful, significant day every year, we're coming up to celebrating Yeshua, Jesus, Jehovah, however you want to language his name, his birthday. Not that this is his birthday, because I highly doubt it, but but that there's a symbolic day where even if you're not Christian, even if you're any other major denomination, there's still a connection to Yeshua. And the reason is that he was a pretty significant dude. And the reason he was significant is for the very reason I was just saying, that everything he did took the power of love and had it supercharge his existence, and it accessed, so this is where we all get to breathe. Love actually has us be able to access, because it permeates all dimensions, it also has us be able to access the stuff within every dimension. Isn't that cool? And I'm going to prove that right now. So, love, unabashed, unapologetic, bold, out there in the world love, regardless of the circumstances in front of you, has this kind of power. Okay, so listen up, because I haven't said this too often lately, but I remember when I first got it, I thought, holy crap, that's amazing. So on your cells, there's a little receptor site. The receptor site receives synchrotronic radiation. Synchrotronic radiation comes from the sun. So imagine that the sun fuels life force and that you receive a little bit, like it's important for your cellular health to receive this synchrotronic radiation. The synchrotronic radiation not only it's been connected somehow to the junk DNA and the multidimensional superpowers that we have. I remember a conversation between Bruce Lipton and some guy that was interviewing him who's a scientist. It was so powerful. But the extrapolation I made, which I wasn't sure if they were getting it while they were talking about it, but man, oh man, is that that little receptor site for synchrotronic radiation is only active when you're in love or in good vibration. So imagine that you have a receptor site that doesn't work when you're in disdain or fear or hatred or whatever. But when you're in love, the receptor site is active, which means that you're receiving the love of the life giving force of the sun when you're in that space. I wonder what the importance of that is. And so, as I was wondering, I realized that its connection to the junk DNA seemed to be, from looking at it holographically, that there are multidimensional superpowers that we have, that those superpowers have us be able to get exponential results. So being able to feel nature around you, or intuitively know what your daughter is up to, or feel what your dog is saying, trying to say to you, or whatever it is. Those superpowers that sort of transcend eyesight and all the three-dimensional stuff. So imagine when you're receiving synchrotronic radiation, it's somehow connected to the junk DNA that's actually connected to your multidimensional DNA that allows you to be superpowered. And you can only have those superpowers when you're in love. You can only experience them when you're north of neutral in your emotional state. Well, hello, that kind of says something about how we can change the world. Because if we can stay in that liminal space of appreciation or gratitude or love or kindness or whatever it is, those little receptor sites are active. And imagine all the people that are doing stuff that's against someone, or because of hate, or because they don't believe someone, or because there's hurt or pain. And then they act out in this world. Well, they don't have the multidimensional superpowers that transcend space and time available to them. Because if that receptor site isn't active, then the activator of the sun isn't present. If the activator of the sun isn't present, then you don't get to access the DNA that allows you to be multidimensional. Isn't that powerful? So, given that, see in this time, and by the way, that's why Jesus could access all those superpowers. He was coming from unconditional love, right? He was coming from this space of a lack of doubt of what he was capable of. And then he was able to heal things and see things and offer things and do things that seemed a little superhuman. Well, we were all made in the same image that Yeshua was made. And so remember that this holiday season, not to discount the power that's available to you, not to discount the power of love. It transcends so much more than just, oh, well, people can feel it and it's nice and sometimes it builds a bridge, and it's actually much bigger than that. It accesses you to every dimension. It accesses you through every dimension because it's present in every dimension. It gives you the superpowers, or the codes of DNA that lie in the dimensions, that you can access that make you superpowered. That's why you're superpowered. You're actually able to access other dimensions. Imagine that it makes you almost like a superhero. It's no wonder so many of us love superhero movies like Avatar and Lucy and the superhero Marvel ones. One of my favorite movies ever is the first Wonder Woman movie. Second Wonder Woman movie, me, not so much. But first one, totally. Right? Imagine that that's us. Yay, hooray. So, you guys, as we approach this time of year, let's just let's just all find our gratitude for the possibility of reaching beyond space and time, of healing things that transcend space and time in ways that are unimagined, in ways that this three-dimensional human you could not possibly imagine. You know, that our brains couldn't come up with based on our history, but our cosmic minds could actually access when we're in that space of unconditionality. And if we can access solutions through being a relentless champion of our hearts. I mean, relentless. Like if something is going on around you and you're not enjoying it or it's not working for you, like my dear friend Lisa Marie, she is being a relentless champion of her heart. I, yesterday, was a relentless champion of my heart. I wrote it all over my calendar for next year. Relentless champion of my heart. Because I know that's the access point to unimagined shifts and unimagined, quote, or betters, what others might call miracles. Let's make miracles normals as we approach next year. So, for the remainder of 2021, and hey, if it feels good, keep going. Let's take on the homework today of being a relentless champion of your heart. It might mean walking out of a room, going for a little walk before you return. It might mean not saying something when you were going to. It might mean saying something when you weren't going to. But for sure, it doesn't mean pointing a finger and saying, I'm not in a loving space anymore and it's because of you. That is not what love would do. What love would do is be completely and entirely self-responsible. Being a champion for your own heart isn't about being righteous about someone else. It's about showing yourself how powerful you are, regardless of what's going on with someone else. It's not about you anyways. So, are you taking on the homework? Does that feel good? Can you do it? I think you can. I'm going to do it. So, I look forward to hearing your posts. I look forward to seeing your comments. Please share this with someone else who maybe doesn't understand how powerful love can actually be and that it can transcend all space and time. And then it reaches through the history of whatever was and through the future potential of whatever could be and finds possibility where possibility wasn't and offers solutions that surprise and delight. Just know that that's true. And for today, and maybe the next week, be a relentless champion for staying in that vibration. Whatever it takes without pointing a finger at anyone else. What do you need to do to stay in that most metaphysically powerful state? It doesn't have to be love. It can just be north of neutral. You know, if down here is disdain or frustration or shame, then get yourself north of neutral. Gratitude, kindness. And see what happens when your sole focus is to be a relentless champion of your frequency. and how powerful that is without you needing to do a thing. Stop thinking that you're alone. You have every dimension of resources available to you, but that's only available if you're north of neutral. If you're south of neutral, everything has to happen by effort. Everything is effortful down here. By virtue of what I described at the beginning of this video, everything, every superpower, every dimension is available to you up here, even maybe biologically, as I described it. All right. Wishing you a merry and happy everything. I look forward. We are going to be doing our next one, not on the 25th, but on the 26th. And it will be the 26th at 9:11. And I will be simulcasting that on our Agents of Awakening and on Facebook Live. So if you're part of Agents of Awakening, I'll be in there answering questions. And if you're not yet, I'll be simulcasting it here as well. I love you. Thank you for being you. Thank you for being courageous. Thank you for being a member of the Heaven on Earth construction crew. If you're in Agents of Awakening, thank you for leaning into your life in that way. I appreciate you. And remember, you are a superpowered human. Fractals, gravity, and love. Fractals and gravity are already given. Love is your choice. So choose that. And I can't wait to see what the results are. All right, guys. Have the absolute best day ever. Here's to seeing you in the field. Bye for now. Love you.